Welcome everyone to Trade Talk Tuesday. Tori Jones and myself, Eric Brandt, have you covered the entire offseason, so make sure you're subscribed to Blazers Uprise below. Also, check out our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live. We stream every Monday and Thursday evening, and that's kind of a more chill, laid-back vibe where you can come just chat hoops with us. The plan for Monday mailbags and Trade Talk Tuesdays is for Tori and I to switch it up every week. So one week, he'll do the mailbag, I'll do the trade talk, and the following week, I'll do the mailbag, and he'll do the trade talk. But those two videos are only as good as your guys' questions and input in that. So if you want to hear your trade suggestions mentioned on the video, please leave them in the comments below. Now, on previous episodes of Eric's Trade Talk, I've mentioned that I don't really like talking about CJ trades that much. One, they're kind of unrealistic for the most part, and two, I don't think the Blazers will trade him. But due to the lack of a lot of trade options for the Blazers this offseason, I think we're going to talk about CJ a lot, so I'm open to the idea of listening to CJ trade ideas. We'll even go over some of them in this video today. Several people mentioned a CJ for Chris Middleton type swap. That specific trade idea, I'm going to do a separate video for, going a little more in detail on what would happen if we made that trade or if it became available, and then how we would fill out the roster around that kind of move. Let's just rapid fire on some of these CJ trade ideas. The first one comes from Preston Dubby. He's at Dubby23 on Twitter. He suggests trading CJ for Lamarcus, Aldridge, Lonnie Walker, and a pick, which I would assume would be the number 11 pick in this draft. I do not like this trade at all. Lonnie Walker and obviously the draft pick still have some upside there, but Lamarcus would not change the direction of this team, especially trading CJ to get him. And I don't really like the idea of trading for Lamarcus this summer. I'm fine with bringing him back as a free agent the following offseason in 2021, but not for trading CJ for him this summer. The next trade idea comes from @BigSnooty, who suggests CJ for Bradley Beal. I do think Bradley Beal is slightly better than CJ, but I have no idea why the Wizards would do this trade. Pairing CJ with John Wall seems like a recipe for disaster for them, and for us, you risk kind of ruining the chemistry of the team for not a huge upgrade. If CJ was in Beal's spot on the Wizards last season without John Wall, I think he would have put up similar numbers. So overall, I'd probably accept that trade if it was offered to us, but I don't think that's going to happen. The next CJ trade suggestion comes from Gregory Blakely at Blakely Hoops. He suggests trading CJ for Drew Holiday of the New Orleans Pelicans. This is another move that it's not enough of an upgrade to me to warrant trading CJ for. Holiday is a better defender than CJ, there's no denying that, but he isn't quite as good offensively, so I feel like you're just trading one strength for another one, and it doesn't really help our team as much overall as I would need in a CJ trade. Plus, Drew Holiday is a career 35% three-point shooter. Not sure how well he would do in Stott's offense. So this goes into the category of kind of an even trade that doesn't necessarily make either team a lot better, so probably pass on that one. Our final CJ trade idea this week comes from Gregory Blakely again, and also at Perkins for 3. They both suggest trading CJ to Indiana for Victor Oladipo. Now, we'd have to throw in another contract from Indiana on that one, so most likely like a Doug McDermott type. As good as Victor Oladipo has been in the past, I do not think this trade makes sense for the Blazers, especially considered how Victor Oladipo looked this season coming back from an injury. I don't think we can risk having a guy like that as part of our core moving forward. He also has 1 year left on his deal, so it's possible after the one season he could bounce. But this is a guy who shot under 40% from the field this season and 31.7% on threes. He's a career 35% three-point shooter. Once again, I don't think it's enough of an upgrade from CJ, and you just don't know if he'll ever recover or be the same from that injury. I don't think that's a risk the Blazers should be willing to take. Alright, let's talk about some non-CJ trades for a minute. Big Snooty had several suggestions for Trevor Ariza, the first being for Will Barton. I'm sure Dame would love to get Will Barton back on this team. I'm not so sure about that though. While Barton's a good player, I just don't think he fits in well in this offense. He's also a lot smaller than Ariza, so he's more of a shooting guard type versus playing small forward, which he can play. I just like Ariza's size at that position a little better. This one would definitely get me to think a little bit, but I probably would end up saying no in the end. Big Snooty Snooty's next suggestion would be Ariza for Rudy Gay. This one I don't like at all. Rudy Gay is kind of a shell of what he used to be. I'd much rather just have Ariza in our lineup. He played really well for us in the games he did play. It was unfortunate that he couldn't play in the bubble, but I think Ariza is a better fit on this team than Rudy Gay would be. The next trade suggestion comes from Luxury Tax. His handle, I can't say the full name, but I'll spell it out for you. It's at RipCity, Titty. His first suggestion is Trevor Ariza and a second round pick for Tony Snell. I do like Snell as kind of a backup wing, but in this situation, I would not give up Ariza. This doesn't make a lot of sense for either team to do this. They're just kind of making a trade to make a trade. Also, giving up a second round pick, I don't really like that idea for getting a similar player back in return. So yeah, I just stick with Ariza in this situation. His next suggestion was to trade Trevor Ariza to the Bulls for Thaddeus Young and a second round pick. I like Ariza's fit on this team better than I would a Thaddeus Young. Even though Ariza's a little older, I just like having a big small forward on this team. The final suggestion from Big Snooty is Zach Collins and Trevor Ariza for Aaron Gordon. I absolutely hate this trade. Sorry, Big Snooty. I do kind of get the intrigue of a guy like Aaron Gordon. He's about to turn 25. He's an athletic small forward, power forward, combo wing type. He just isn't that good at basketball. So he's a career 31.9% three-point shooter, only shot 30.8% from three this previous year. With how athletic he is, I feel like he should be averaging more rebounds per game as well, which he does not do. He does have a little bit of passing ability, which is nice to have, but I feel like in our offense, he would be more of a glorified Evan Turner. Gordon, if he's ever going to succeed, needs to be in an up-tempo offense where he can get out and run in transition, but I just don't see that happening in Portland. If I'm being honest, I think Trevor Ariza is a better player at 35 years old than Aaron Gordon is. On top of that, we'd have to give up Zach Collins too. Yeah, no way. At Mark27304945 also suggests an Aaron Gordon trade, and that's Trevor Ariza, Anthony Simons, and the number 16 pick for him. Once again, I hate this trade. Sorry guys, I just don't think Aaron Gordon's a good player. I don't like wasting assets to get him. I just don't think Aaron Gordon fixes any of our problems. He should be a great defender. He should be a good rebounder. He should be a decent shooter, but he's none of those things. So there has to be a point after 6 years where you have to start to question maybe his work ethic isn't very good or he's not being used right. So once again, I'm saying no to Aaron Gordon. Pretty much any trade for Aaron Gordon is just a no for me. Alright, got 3 more trade suggestions for you guys this week. 2 of them are pretty small ones. Let's move away from Aaron Gordon and go back to at RipCity, Titty. His suggestion is trading Nasir Little and the 16th pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Miles Bridges. Now, I'm pretty sure the Hornets are pretty high on Miles Bridges, so I don't see them doing this. I also don't know if long-term Nas is going to be that much worse than Miles Bridges, so I don't like this trade at all either. That's a lot of no's for me this week. Sorry, but yeah, I just don't really like that one. Another small trade suggestion comes from at Zacho Colapano, and he suggests trading Mario Hezonja if he opts in, and our 2020 second round pick, which is number 46, to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for cash. Now, if Atlanta's willing to do this, I would say yes. Please take Hezonja. Just getting a free roster spot by trading Hezonja is a win in my opinion. I don't like giving up second round picks in those situations, but I think in this case it might be worth it. No idea if Atlanta will do it though. They're expected to have a decent amount of cap space, so I don't know if that makes sense for them to take up a roster spot just for the 46th pick, but it's definitely worth pursuing with them. I'll conclude this week's trade talk with a crazy trade idea from at Thomas Oransky. He has a 5-team trade in which the Blazers get Dwayne Dedmon, Bjelica, and the number 12 pick via Sacramento. The Timberwolves get Mario Hezonja. The Dallas Mavericks get Trevor Ariza. Atlanta Hawks get DeLon Wright, Corey Joseph, and a 2020 second via Golden State from Dallas. And Sacramento gets James Johnson, the number 16 and number 17 picks in this draft. I don't know if any of the teams in this trade do this deal. Blazers get a backup center in Dedmon, which would make re-signing Whiteside not needed. They get Bjelica as kind of a backup 4, which would be nice. And they move up a little bit in the draft, but it seems like a lot of salary to bring on, and I don't know if Dwayne Dedmon is worth all that money. The Timberwolves get out of James Johnson's last year of his contract and go from owing him around $16 million down to Mario Hezonja, who's less than $2 million. I don't see them doing that and giving up a first-round pick just to clear cap space. They could if they get desperate, it, but they won't know at the point of the draft if they will be willing to do that or who they'd be able to sign. So I don't see them doing that. The Mavericks, I could see trading Trevor Ariza for DeLon Wright. I'm not sure if they would give up a pick to do so, but I definitely think that's an option if we could find a third team for DeLon Wright, because I'm not sure if he makes a whole lot of sense for the Blazers, but Trevor Ariza for DeLon Wright would be a possibility. Atlanta, I don't know if they need DeLon Wright either. Getting Corey Joseph is kind of a for them, and then all for a second round pick. I don't really see them liking that deal too much. Sacramento getting James Johnson, getting out of a couple contracts, moving back a few spots for 2 picks a few picks later. Might be something they do. Not sure what their thoughts are, but they're probably the most likely to do this deal. Obviously, really fun to do a 5-team trade, and I just don't think the logistics of this one quite work out. That's going to do it for this episode of Trade Talk Tuesday. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. What did you guys think of the trade suggestions from this week? Please comment below and also give your trade suggestions to talk about on future videos. Until the next live stream or video, this has been Eric Brandt for Blazers Uprise. Once again, thanks for watching, and peace out. Go Blazers.